Okay, now can you try it? Hi.
Hi.
What room are you in that has no decorations? Oh, your bedroom?
Yeah. So where I got confused, which other people might too, is like the big blue, it tells you to sign in, but if they call you, it's down below, it says, I'm not the meeting host. Launch the meeting, they have to click that.
Oh, okay. But if you have it open, I don't think that's what happens.
See, but you're on it and I just clicked on it again to try to get in.
Did anybody, I don't remember it happening like that last time.
Me neither, but I didn't try it last time. I just used the meeting host or whatever.
Okay, hold
Oh,
on.
it get confusing, but if somebody calls you, you have to click the join the
The
meeting
one below it, right?
attendee, yeah.
Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna try it from my phone too.
Okay. I went to the email you sent, like the team.
Join meeting as an attendee. Okay, I see that too.
Okay, well, if people call you, you might have to tell them that, or maybe you
To do that.
send one more email or something with like a snapshot that says you might have to log in this way or something.
Okay.
But if you
Hold
do it that way, it works.
Did we have any more registrants? When I
think that
checked,
was just yesterday maybe, but that's all I know of.
when I checked earlier, we didn't have any more, but let me check. Again. Okay, so there's nobody new besides the people that were new this morning.
He's gone. Okay, thanks for looking at that. I'm good now.
Do you want me to send them an email telling them what to do again?
No, I think it's fine.
Nobody called me last time that joined us via Zoom.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Okay. By the way, I thought
Yes.
doing messy spaghetti with my nieces and nephews would be fun. Because with it's my kids, it's fun. I fucking forgot about the fact that they're toddlers, so they just throw spaghetti everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know why you would do that. That seems like a terrible idea, even with your own kids.
Oh, my kids love it.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, for. Mute, start video.
All the other stuff I don't care about. So at 190.
So get on, log in, Bray,
Are you muted on that one?
on my,
Yeah,
No.
it's gonna have a lot of background.
Dude, Amy Jones group is on. Is that this one?
Yeah.
Oh, no, they were so.
Well, we didn't.
No. they're the-
Rename.
Recording in progress.
I will make you a
You tell me next slide. Okay, slide.
Who's on? He's got Joel.
No.
Josh.
Joel Dosh, that's all on right now. These two are admins.
Hey, Joel and Josh, can you guys hear me?
Sound a little muffled. Joel says yes.
I can hear you.
Oh, there you go.
Josh says yes as well.
Oh, that's on yours though, huh?
No, it's up there.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh.
You can turn it up a little bit.
Cool. Packed house. Hope you guys are ready. Be exciting. Already. So let's do so the class today is gonna be like, I think this is probably one of the most important, well, they're all like important, right? But this one is more of like the meat and potatoes where you actually put like the rubber to the road where we figure out if this really is a buy or if this is a no-go, right? So today, we're gonna walk through exactly the way I would, or I did when we started, and how I analyze it. We're gonna look at a spreadsheet that we've used in the past. We've done a little tweaking to it, but it'll give you like a good snapshot of what's going on. Ray, what's the, put the next slide for me. Okay, the next one, then? Okay, go. Yeah, so we're gonna find and analyze. Next class is gonna be like the buy and the financing options, which is gonna be pretty creative here. There's a lot of things to do. But anyway, let's focus on this one. Brayden, what's the next slide? Okay. Action items. Who did the homework for last week? You did?
I did actually write it down. I looked at it.
Okay, okay. How are you gonna turn it in?
That's a B.
What's an F? Brittany, you suck. Thanks for coming today, though. All right, Josh, which one did you do, man? Josh, you, which one, what,
I answered all the questions.
What's the question?
which ones do you want to talk about? Do you want to go through all? I'll go through all of them.
Let's do them all.
Doesn't sound like Brittany did one, so.
We'll be here for the food.
All right, which, go through it again, Josh.
Number one was how you feel secure, rich and wealthy.
Yeah,
So, I guess I just kind of define them as to what those mean for me.
yeah, perfect.
So, hey, this is my answer.
There's no right or wrong, dude. You're next.
So
We'll all
for me,
judge you.
so for me, like the time frame, is under like 6 or 8 months of being able to find a job if something happens to live it where you're at until you found another one. That has pretty much been like my idea of security. Rich, that would be something like I go buy a boat and not worry about. Like I know that all my bills are paid, everything's good, but I'm gonna go spend 80 grand on a new bass boat. And then wealthy is I'm leaving money to my kids and my kids' kids. And so on down the road.
Okay. What's bad about being rich?
What's bad about
Yeah, like what, I guess, would you rather be rich or wealthy?
it? I'd rather be wealthy.
Okay.
Because if I'm leaving money for generations, that means there's plenty for me to spend on top of
Right,
His mind's working.
for sure.
it.
Okay. Anybody else have anything for that one?
I thought I was rich, so I heard he's buying $8,000 I don't even know what rich is.
That's another word for debt.
I heard about rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that's legit, like secure is like. Secure to you is the 6 months of like. If you didn't make $1, you'd be able to last for 6 months, that's secure, and it means something different to everybody. Rich, I call like walking around money, like you just have a pocket full of money, but you are always going to have to work. As hard as you are right now to make that same amount of money because. You are working for your money is not working for you. So if you're walking around with 100 G's in your pocket, you're gonna go, I say waste it, you're gonna go buy a bass boat. Okay, that $80,000 gone. What happens if you're in an accident or whatever, you have $20,000 left? You know, how long can you live on $20,000? Now, if you had to, yeah, you could probably stretch that out, but that's not the life that you want to live. That's the life you're being forced to live because you live like the rich life, right? And you will always, so next year, you're gonna have to make that same 100 grand to buy something different because you didn't invest it and have something that's going to pay you that money. Okay, what else?
Well, I think Rich is having a lot of stuff, but like, what does stuff matter if, like, to your point? What happens tomorrow if you lose your job, if you get
Right.
sick,
Right.
you know?
Okay, I vote, damn.
No, but you want to have both, right? You want to be able to have security.
Well,
and
that's why I said.
you want to be able to live the life that you want,
Yeah.
and then pass it along to generations, like. All of those.
There's going to become a time, I mean, for most of us, I hope in this room, like we live for a very long time, right? Like we live, let's just for number sake, say you're gonna live till you're 100 years old, maybe you're gonna die.
At least,
There's going to be a time where you are not effective at work. There's going to be a time where you can't do shit. There's going to be a time where you're gonna like age discrimination. I don't care if you face the facts on that or not, like you're gonna go apply for a job at 75 years old. Who's gonna hire you at 75 years old? Right? By that time, who knows what technology is gonna be? You're not gonna be effective. So at one point, you've got to stop working and your money has to start working for you. Okay, what else? Who else has anything else on another question or same question? Anybody else?
Well, I like the idea that I would be working on solving my own issues instead of doing it for everybody else. In my line of work, that's why I solve problems for other people and ignore my own.
Right.
And that's
So-
the first step.
Explain a little more on that.
Well, so I work for a large corporation and my job is to solve problems. I'm on in-house counsel, so all the legal issues, and things like that come to me. Then I've been in-house, I've been in private practice. All those times you're solving everybody else's problems. And basically I'm trading my time for money.
Right.
So that's my biggest priority is to stop doing that. To where, because the people that I know that I consider to be really wealthy, you know, people are working for their money, you know, and they're not working for money anymore. They're just making sure that their money's out there working. So
Working for them.
yeah, and they don't have to trade they don't have to trade X amount of hours for X amount of dollars.
Right.
You know, which you can be rich doing it, but the goal is to have other people helping make money.
Right. So he said something like super powerful. I don't know if anybody caught it, but he said, like somebody basically told, or he traded his time for the money. So somebody is basically telling Kevin, and I'm just using you as an example, but I'm glad that you're vulnerable. But like, he's letting somebody else tell him what his time is worth. Right? And his goal is hit right now, like he's tired of that. He doesn't want to do that anymore. So like, are you gonna let somebody else tell you what your time is worth? My time is super freaking valuable. Not because like the money that we make, it's just that it's very limited. And I wanna make sure that I'm doing the shit that I wanna do in that time.
Well,
And I'll
we're all
let
doing
somebody
it,
else-
even you're self-employed, you're doing it, because I get told how much my time is worth by the amount of commission I charge, right? Or he gets charged by the amount that he can charge for installing something, so everybody's getting told, unless your money's working for you.
Right. And to a certain extent, right, like. If you got paid like an hourly wage, there's only 24 hours in a day, so you can only make $10 an hour times 24 is only 240 hours. We can go on a listing appointment, you can set 5 of those, you can set 1 of those. It's really up to you on what you want to do. You can buy 1 house, or you can buy 500 houses. It's really what you want to do. Okay, that's cool. Anybody else? Neil, you got one? No? The guys on the screen, Joel or Josh, you got one?
Are you talking for like any question
No.
or still on these?
Yeah, on the homework one. You get the homework one you got last time?
Yeah, I just wanted a little bit of like insight into what would be like a reasonable passive income. Because if you're talking like building wealth, you want to like just shoot for the freaking moon, right? Like,
Like, what do you want?
yeah, so even though like, if you were to take like, okay, this is my mortgage, these are my bills and stuff, so like bare minimum passive income, this is what I would need to survive, but obviously that's not what your goal, my goal should be way bigger than that, right? So where do you just randomly pick a number, or do you have some guidelines? Like.
On how you figure out your number?
Yeah, like how, where should I start, I guess?
Yeah, where do you, well, what do you want? What do you want?
I guess that's what I need to know, I need to figure out, what do you want? I know,
Go ahead.
If you were to look, if I were to sit down here in 5 years, how old would you be?
in 5 years, I'll be 40, gross. I'll be 40, I'm kidding.
Yeah, and I was just sitting there and say, Brittany, you have the best life that you could ever imagine. You could not imagine anything better. Tell me what that looks like. That's what that is.
Okay, all right, cool, yeah, cause I was thinking about that today, I'm like, okay.
And then pick 4 things like your job, your career, your family, and whatever, like, is it travel, is it
Okay.
health, like whatever it is, and then write those things down, and then how much does it take to live that?
Gotcha, okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, like
Thank you.
something, and like Heather was saying, but also like work, how much longer do you wanna work?
No more.
Okay. What do you wanna do with your life? Josh wants to buy a $80,000 passport every year. That's great. I'm not judging him. Go freaking do it, man. If that's what you want, go do that. What do you wanna do with your free time? How much free time do you want? What do you wanna do with your kids? What do you wanna leave your kids? What do you wanna help your kids start? You know, like, do you want your kids to go to college debt free? Do you wanna buy them their first house? You know, do you wanna have enough money in the bank so if something goes wrong, you can cover it? You know, your kid get, like we talked about last week, your kid gets some crazy disease and the only cure is in out in Europe somewhere, and you gotta go there for treatments for a year. Would you be able to take a year off tomorrow, leave tomorrow and be gone for a year and not miss a beat? Would you be able to do that? Do you wanna do that? Bills, like what bills do you have? What bills are you going to have? But then just like the life by design, like if money was not an object, if money didn't matter, what would you do with your entire day? And how much money would that cost to get there? Right? Cool. Josh, you got any more?
Well, I did the whole thing.
Well, which one? Give me your next most important one. Like if you had to pick one question, what would it be?
My next important question. Well, I don't know about the next important one, but 6, 7, and 8 there where it says, what is your outlook on time frame? The 12-year or 12-week year concept, and then what are your current hurdles and hesitations, and then how would you rate your mindset?
Okay.
I don't know if I totally understand that 25 years is 100 quarters concept, the whole thing. But like in 12 weeks, what can I do? Like I have to change my daily habits, how I think and how I treat money. Look at opportunities, take full advantage of everything at my disposal, whether it's money, talents, network, people, whatever it is. So that was that. Like I said, I don't know about the 25 years to 100 quarters.
So a quarter of a year, so every 3 months. So what I'm trying to do is, like, how would you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. So if you if you had a goal, let's say your goal is I want to buy a bass boat every year, or I want to buy a bass boat next year for 80 grand. Like, that's your goal. Okay, so what do I have to do at 6 months? I have to be worth $40,000 cash. Okay, so then in 3 months, I need to be worth 20,000. Now, how do I get to, how do I get to 20? I'm trying to get your goal and break it down to a bite size. So where you know what to do every single day to, on day 365, you walk in and say like, there's my 80 grand cash because, I did everything every day. So like, you could break it all the way down to like, I have to talk to 3 new people every single day. Maybe a guy with money, maybe a guy that finances, and maybe a guy like a handyman to buy my first investment property. I need 3 investment properties in 9 months. And I need to refinance them to get the 80 grand. So by month 3, I need to have 1 house. By month 6, I need to have 2, 9, I need to have my 3rd, so that when the 12th comes around, I can refinance it and pull all my money back out and go buy my bass boat. So I was trying to we set all these crazy goals, but then it's like if somebody said like, what's your favorite movie? Wait, like, oh shit, there's a ton of them, right? Like there's so many. You want my favorite horror movie, my favorite comedy, my favorite romance? Like, what do you want? But if I were to tell you like, hey, Josh, what is your favorite Jim Carrey comedy movie that was made in 1997? You could narrow all that shit all the way down to like one movie, right? But if I just said, what's your favorite movie? Like, I don't know. You don't even know where to start. Same with like your goal. I want to buy a bass boat. But how do I work it backwards? What do I gotta do every single day?
So it's not so overwhelming.
Exactly.
Is it improper to try if you're overwhelmed in that regard, to work the other way, to say, well, let's start with one house. And then how often do you adjust your waypoints?
So your goals adjust all the time. They're always evolving, just like your why. Your why is always gonna evolve. Like things are gonna come up in life and say like, oh shit, I gotta adjust my plan. Like I used last time, Heather, on her MS stuff, like our goal and my why was different right here. And then she got the MS thing and it was like, well, now we got focus over here and this is now my new why. It's not bad to like start with like one house or like work it backwards like you were talking about. It's just like, how fast do you want to get there would be my thing. Like, because time is so valuable. Because time might not be here tomorrow. So like, how fast do you want to get there? Is it like, if your goal is to retire in 15 years, yeah, dude, one house a year might get you there. But if your goal is to be like financially free in 5 years, one house might not get you there, right? Cool. Anything else? That was awesome. Okay. Let's see. Like what changes has anybody noticed any changes in the last like 2 weeks or last, I guess it's only been 1 week, but like, did you talk to anybody about investing? Have you thought more about it? Like, has anything like the Jeep theory, if you're gonna go buy a brand new Jeep, has anybody noticed a bunch of Jeeps outside? Like, have you noticed any investment properties outside or nothing's really changed?
I just thought about it a little bit more, but
Right, so that's what like, well, if you listen to the class last time, we talked about the reticular
I was
activating.
in the class last time.
Huh?
I was in the class last time.
So you don't remember, do you remember this, like, when you were gonna go buy a new car,
Yeah, I do.
and then you noticed them everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So if you put it in your mindset that you wanna start buying investment properties, you wanna start partnering with people that like to do that same stuff, you should really start to see that and come across some different opportunities, I hope.
We went to a real estate conference yesterday and today, and there was like, what, 300 people in there? And we sat right next to someone who owns 100 houses in Wichita, Kansas, and is he showed me one on his phone for $12,000 that you could remodel for $20,000 and then refinance, get all your cash out and still make $300 cash flow. And so out of all those people that we could have sat next to, it could have been someone from freaking LA, like whatever, and what's the chance that we sit next to someone where you can literally do that. And oh, by the way, he is a property manager and he has his contractors, like, so that's cool. Wow.
Yeah, so like obviously like in our reticular activating system, that's what we want to talk about. That's what we like to talk about. We naturally steer conversations like that way. But like, I've never met that guy in my life. Like he's in a real estate Facebook group that we belong to, but like having like a 5 or 20-minute conversation with him. I mean, I can easily imagine us like flying out to Kansas next week to go look at some properties. Like things just come your way when you're looking for them, when you're ready for them. This one's legit right here too. Like energy follows attention. Like what you really want to do is what you focus your energy on. You can sit here and tell yourself, yeah, man, I want to do investments. Yeah, I want to meet up or I want to team up with these people. But like, what are you actually doing? This is not talking follows attention. This is energy. What you do shows what you really want to do. What's the next slide? Man? All right, so let's go to like some very basic things to look for when you're picking like your first investment property. I know you've like watched the TV shows a lot, and Chip Gaines says it every time. His opening statement is the worst house in the best neighborhood. Why do you think you want the worst house in the best neighborhood?
If you fix the house, you can't fix the neighborhood,
Yeah.
like the schools or whatever's around it.
Yep, and you can use the other houses as your comparables to help bring your price up. You don't want to be the best house in the neighborhood because you're basically helping everybody else's values come up. It's easier to get a better deal. If it's in shambles, well, you wanna pick a good neighborhood. Which goes into my next point, is like, you wanna buy where the majority of the people are. So like your first house, you're probably not gonna wanna buy in like South Florence. Not a ton of people that wanna move out to Florence right now. Right, you wanna buy where all the people are at, or where a majority of the people are at, because that opens up your clientele or your buyers or your renters. Goes out into a huge net, right? You're throwing a huge net, trying to catch as many fish as you can. You wanna stay in your buy box. We're gonna go over this buy box here in just a second. One thing I strongly urge you not to do is like, don't be weird. Don't be weird with your first investment. Like, don't be, there's a guy that came approached me a couple months ago and he's like, hey man, I was thinking about buying some land in Minnesota or something on a lake, and I've seen on YouTube what they do with these shipping containers. Like, they take these shipping containers, they cut them all up, you can make a house, you can make a pool, you can do all this and that. How many people want to go and buy and live in shipping container? Right? There's not many. Are there some? Yes, there's some. But your field is narrow. Dana's not one of them. Dana will not be in a shipping container.
Furniture wrap.
They do, and maybe this is something different, or maybe this is after your. Out of all the houses that I bought, I'm not interested. I'm still not interested in this. I'm not sold on that. Maybe, I don't know. Don't do it. Don't be weird on your first one. And you don't want to learn on luxury. Why wouldn't you want to learn? What is luxury? Defined as anything over $1 million, right? Why don't you want to pick your first flip to be $1 million plus investment property?
Because if I make an easy mistake, then I'm risking $1 million.
100%. Your liability, your risk is huge. What we talked about last week is really trying to mitigate that risk. Like, real investing isn't risky because you mitigate it all the way to where it's just as risky as getting in the car and driving home tonight, right? So buying $1 million property, if you mess up and lose 3%, that's a ton of money, right? What happens if you lost 3% on a $400,000 house? Still a lot of money, but can you recoup that? 100%. You'll be all right. This one's cool too. I get this a lot, like here in the office, even agents, they'll come up to you and they'll say like, hey man, I got this killer deal. This house, it's only 200 grand. It's cheap, dude. You should take it down. It's a good one. Oh, okay, cool. So why don't you want to buy just because it's cheap?
Put a lot of money.
Yeah,
Not a reason that she.
Yeah, what the
Right.
debate?
Is it cheap enough?
right. So if I came up and I said, Kevin, I got this house, 70 grand, dude, $70,000. There's nothing. You can't find anything on the MLS right now for $70,000. Kevin, you want it?
Where's that? I mean, no.
Right, you gotta look at, or no, yes, thank you. No, because what happens if that trailer is 50 grand
Barely used to have.
or house, whatever. They took the tires off. They took the tires off and it's a house now. But what I'm saying is like, pay attention, like you have to run through these numbers, and what we're gonna get into in this spreadsheet is just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's a deal. Yes, it's enticing to be like, oh man, it's only 100 grand. The risk is low. Maybe the return is huge. Maybe it's a piece of shit and it's only worth $40,000, right? Now you're upside down 35,000. How are you gonna recoup that? That's gonna be super tough. Recoup that. So just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's a deal. Research every freaking deal. Every deal. Anybody got any questions on this? Why the years are important? No? Good. Pretty basic. What's up, Ray? All right, so buy box. Does anybody know what a buy box would be? Anybody else? What's a buy box, Brady? What's a buy box?
It's what your investment is gonna fit into. It's the box that you want the parameters of your investment to fit into.
100%. So it's your, said perfect, like your parameters, your characteristics, what you want in a house. And you're gonna be specific about it. You're gonna be specific about a go and no go type situation. So like as a starter kit, like if I could give you like, hey, this is for your very first investment, the best advice I could give you would be right here, and I'm gonna run over with you. How many people want a 3-2 minimum? 3-2, 3-bedroom, 2-bath minimum. Just about freaking anybody, right, wants 3-2. Can you go higher than that? Yes. Do you want to go lower than that? You want to go a 2-1, a 1-1? How many people, again, you're funneling your buyer market, your renters market down to very slim chance of people, right? So you want a minimum of a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. You're looking at least 1,300 square feet. Anything lower than that, you start to get like too small for families, right? So nothing less than 1,300 square feet. So if I had a 4-2 and Kevin, it was 1,100 square feet, would you buy it?
You gotta go over.
Based on this information right here, Kevin, based on this information.
It's a 4-2.
4-2, 1,100 square feet.
One of them take up a deposit, it's not a 4-2. But, it meets all those, yeah.
So if it meets all of them, but it doesn't, right? Because we're looking at 1,300 above.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, that's right. No,
Yeah, so that's 11, you're gonna be, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Don't do it. The year built, 1979, like what happened in the end of 78, beginning of 79? There's 3 huge factors that happened to the building industry in 78, 79. Asbestos,
Lead paint, I'm totally throwing it out there.
lead,
Okay.
one more.
Pipe.
What pipes?
Um,
You're right. that's
I
bad.
just was stealing Monica's answer if she whispered.
Cast iron sewer lines.
But he actually do it over.
Asbestos,
Um,
I don't know if you listen, I mean, it would be kind of a shot in the dark, but I could kind of guess. What do you think to remediate a house if it was, say it was in the sheetrock and in the laminate flooring? How much to minute to? Probably 20,000 probably. Yeah, I could say that. Josh, to remove lead-based paint on all the walls and the ceiling in a 1,300 square foot house. How much do you think?
Pretty close to the same, probably.
Okay. Cast iron sewer lines. Who wants to take a guess at that? Me and Heather know that, and I'm gonna show you then the freaking situation I'm gonna show you in the spreadsheet, it happened.
I'm gonna say probably 30 would be kind of second.
30 grand?
Probably.
Okay, well,
Are we talking the whole house?
yeah,
The whole house?
they're cast iron
I'm
shadows,
gonna say like 30 plus.
30 Gs.
Worst.
I'm gonna go a little lower. I'll go 23. Okay, so let's say even best case scenario, right? Let's say Josh is wrong and it's at 20. How much is that right here? How much is that right here? 60 grand. Let's just hold this tight for just 1 second. Okay, 60 grand in unexpected cost. Because you bought it 78 or older. Okay. All right, so we'll put that aside real quick, coming back to that. So you're built 79 and newer because those 3 situations right there. And somebody can you see this from the naked eye? Can you see this from the naked eye? Can you see this from the naked eye? Not the naked eye. Well, you can see there's gas down, but the stuff that you can see looks perfect, right? Because it's all above ground and it's like, oh, dude, the vent. Oh, this shit's good, bro. It's good. Okay, there's 60 grand right there that we can't see. 60 grand that you can't see. Heather, have we ever bought a house sight unseen?
Yeah.
100%. What if we didn't see those right there? That's your profit. Location, like why is it important to get the location? What's the most important thing in real estate? 3 words, but it's 1 word, but it's 3. Location, 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 right? You can't pick up, so if we took like a 3-2 right here that's in Mesa, downtown Mesa, we picked it up, we put it in downtown Scottsdale. What do you think the value on that house is?
Millions.
Way the hell more, right? It's the same freaking house built in 1950, piece of shit, but it's in Mesa. But if you put it in Scottsdale, be worth millions, right? Location is very important. Schools are very important, especially for families, right? You want to get your kids in the best schools, safest schools, maybe a private school, whatever. When you're renting them out, this is super, super important to me right here. This is a big like go, no go. If I'm gonna rent it out, I don't want to have to go down to the slums. I don't want to have to go down to like Section 8 housing. I don't want to have to like deal with that kind of people. I just don't want to. So I stay away from like high crime rate areas. I'll buy houses that I necessarily don't want to live in, but like, when you're in that area, it's like, I'm scared to drive down that road. Don't buy a house down that road on your first one, okay? Chances are, if you don't want to do that, There's a lot of other people that don't wanna do it either, right? Amenities. So if you're gonna do like a flip. Garage, you want at least like a two car. Some of these older houses, like in Mesa, they don't even have garages, right? The pool is very important. If you wanna do like a short-term rental, like VRBO, anybody done any research on VRBOs? Like what would be the difference if you had a pool or you didn't have a pool? Does anybody know? It could be like $100 to $300 a night.
In Arizona, yeah, it's huge.
Right, and yeah, in Arizona, I'm assuming here in Arizona, sorry. So pool, if you have VRBO, it's almost like a must, right? There's a lot of money you'd be leaving on the table if you didn't have it. But as a long-term rental, why wouldn't pools be good?
Maintenance and cost monthly.
Yes. Do you think your tenants take care of the property like you would? Most of them don't. You get some good ones, right? We've been blessed with some really good tenants before, but more often than not, they're not gonna take care of it. So you got a budget like having your pool guy go out there and maintenance it. Just run that through. And then like if a pump goes out, you're looking at like $3,000 to $5,000 depending on like the size of the pump. And if it goes out and you don't find it right away, maybe your tenants are out of town, or maybe they just didn't call you and now the pool's green. Now you're pumping the pool out, you're pressure washing it, you're filling it back up, you put more chemicals back in, and you're putting a new pump on there. So your costs just keep going up, 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 up. If you're gonna do a long-term rental, I would highly stay away from a pool. Short-term rental, VRBO, I would highly recommend a pool, okay? No main roads on the front or the back. Why is that? Yeah, they're freaking loud. Nobody wants to live there, right? I mean, would you want to live facing baseline? No, nobody else is either. Don't do it. Don't buy it. What's cool about it, huh?
There's somebody who's out there.
So like in 2020, 21, do you think road noise mattered? No, 100%. Oh, baseline. Can't hear that. Can't hear baseline from here. Do you think in the shitty market we're going into, I bet that freaking baseline road is about 100 more decibels louder, right? So no main roads in the front or the backyard. I don't care if, oh, we'll just put some trees up there. No, don't do it, okay? And if you can't make money on it, it's a hard no-go. Like, what are you doing this for? For your big why, and it takes money to get to your big why. So if you can't make money on it, why would you do it? You're not gonna do it. You're gonna say hard no. Okay, anybody got any questions on this?
I do, probably really dumb.
Probably went through last time.
No, I don't.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So with like asbestos, like all that stuff, are you, when you buy a flip or something, is there not a walkthrough? Is there not any kind of that, because you're paying cash? Or like, I think about when I bought my house, I got that whole inspection report that told me every little crack and all that stuff.
Right.
Does that not happen on these? Cause
It does, but there are times like as you, like, on your first ones, you might have time to get all this stuff done.
oh, it's a time thing.
Yeah, okay, Brittany, so let's say like, yeah, no,
You wanna
great
grab
question,
it
great
back.
question, great question, right? So let's say, Jackson, he's not right, or Brady works for my box. Brady calls you and says, Brittany, I have a house that you can make a $200,000 spread on it. Like after repair costs, after you pay for it, the ARV on it, boom, you could profit $200,000 freaking dollars. Brayden is gonna go pitch that to like 3,000 other people. So do you think, yeah, because somebody's gonna see a spread like this, they're gonna take their chances on this, or they're gonna do their homework and say for 200 grand. Window of opportunity opens and they close 100 times faster, right? Like, I don't wanna say like, for your first one to be aggressive and just, not do any of your inspections. I'm just saying there will be a time where you have to buy it sight unseen. And if you can remember 1979 or newer, you're probably super safe there.
So it's not common then to have like inspections and stuff on this kind of stuff, or is it like 50/50?
Kind of 50/50.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we'll do like inspections.
I think you notice a lot, like, what I've noticed at least is like when you get experienced enough to like recognize when you're gonna see this stuff, like somebody like Sam, who's got general contracting experience and flipping experience. It would only take him, oh, you have a deal, he'll look at the numbers and then he'll drive down there and he'll have a good idea if it's older than 1978, on what's gonna have to happen or not.
Okay,
But somebody like me, I'm still very new to that. That's not something that I'd risk on one walkthrough. I'd want to get somebody like Sam out there to take a look at it.
well, I'm thinking other things in addition to that, like. that-
There are other
other-
things.
And maybe even in newer homes, but I just was curious about inspection.
Yeah, no, there could be a million things that could go wrong, but these are like the big heavy hitters.
You can't
They-
remediate those DIY, right?
Not those two. Well, these two, yeah, you should probably have a trained professional. You're not gonna have like stuff, so yeah, you're gonna have to.
And you want something at the end that says it's asbestos free, right?
Yeah, 100%, you'll get a little certificate. Now, can you buy a house with asbestos, rent it out and be just fine? Be legal, be just fine.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
We have.
As long as you don't.
But you gotta tell them every time, right?
Oh, do you?
Yeah, so we
disclose that?
have, you disclose that it has asbestos in it. As long as you don't pulverize it, you can poke holes in it, as long as you don't like tear it up, demo it, you're gonna be fine.
Oh,
So once we go to,
Yeah.
so we tore a wall down and Josh had to get the guys in there to remediate like that one wall. Yeah. So yes, put paint on it, you're totally fine. As long as you don't bust it all up, get dust everywhere, you're fine. So anyway, that's just what is super important about 1979 or newer.
Yeah.
Is that it takes like those three are out. But you can take those three off your list of things to look for. There's still a ton of other things to look for, but those are like huge costs. Everything else is fairly minor, right? Josh, Joel, you got anything? No comments on there? Go to the next slide, Brady. Okay, lead generating, like how, we talked about like, how do you find these deals? One, like when you start, what is it? When you start expecting it, when it's on your front of mind, like when it's something you want to talk about, when it's something you want to learn about, when it's people you want to meet, when it's conversations you want to have, they'll start naturally occurring. Perfect example was 3 hours ago when we were in Texas, that guy sitting right next to us. After 5 minutes, we figured out what he did. He owned 100. He owns a couple 8 plexes and 16 plexes, blah, blah, blah. You figure that out. Other ways, like who do you know? We talked about, I think we talked about it a little bit last week, but like, who do you know in this room? Right, like we have a handyman guy, we have a contractor, we have an attorney, we have Brayden with buy box, we have some realtors in here, we have a nurse that makes a ton of money. Right, like there's people in here that you can partner up with. And places you can find houses, like Brayden can find you reduced price houses all day long. That's what he does for a living, all day long. He tries to find underpriced houses for you. So if you want to find one, he's probably a very good place to start. If you don't have money, what do you need to do?
Somebody who has money.
Find somebody who has money.
Okay.
If you have money, but you don't know what to do or how to do it, what do you gotta do?
That's what I said.
You gotta find your yin to your yang, right? You gotta find the other guy. Find the guy, find the person, doesn't have to be a guy. On a go, it can work.
Take your money.
So it doesn't have to be a guy, but you're trying to find that other person. That's why the book, Who Not How. Huh?
So I'm just, so what have you got done with them?
Then you're Brayden and you go to work for the guy. I'm just kidding. I love Brayden. I give him a hard time. No, but there's somebody in your life, I guarantee it. You might tell me, oh, Sam, you're a liar. I guarantee if we pulled out your phone book, pull your phones. Go to your contact list.
I have two,
Oh,
when I got home the other night,
You have two,
both father-in-laws.
want to invest?
Yeah. I mean, just,
dang.
What, like how? Tell me about that story. Tell me.
I don't know, because I just got home, my mother-in-law's been here from Alabama,
Okay,
and, she said, oh, yeah, my husband'd like to do that, and Nikki talked to her dad, he's like, oh, yeah, I've always wanted to invest. Just. And you said.
if this was a microphone sound, and I walk away,
Then you said.
100%, when you start looking for it, it's gonna hit you. It's gonna get worse, man. It's gonna get worse, I'm telling you. Like, when you really start focusing on it, it freaking comes at you and you're gonna be like, oh my God, I don't have enough time.
Yeah.
I don't have enough time to comp these properties that I get to look at. Like, if that's where you wanna be, you will get there, right? That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Sorry, this was for agents on here. MLS, so you could team up with an agent, right, to help you find some deals. There's agents in this room. There's Braden right here that can help you. You can make these phone calls yourself. Like maybe you have some friends, hey man, isn't your grandma moving into an assisted living home or something like that? What are you guys gonna do with that house? I think we gotta fix it up. I think we gotta flip it. We gotta, I gotta put $50,000 into it. Hey, check this out. Let me come by. Let me bring my contractor, somebody with me. Let me see if I can buy it off you. Oh man, you buy it? Yeah. Oh, well, I need to fix it up for it. Nah, don't worry about that. I'll do that. What did Kane say? That's on me? Hey, that's on me, dog. That's all. That's on me, bro. Like if you really want to, it's like how bad do you want? Like, will you go door knock? I can give you a script. Ray can give you a script to where you can go and door knock these houses in these communities and you knock on the door and say like, hey man, are you interested in moving? I'm a cash buyer. I'm willing to buy this house as is right now. What's your price? Right? Like we can run through a script. You can find the houses yourself. Whatever it is, what's that keyword right there? Or this phrase? Just can do something, right? So we talked about, I don't know what we talked about last week or not, but Jesse Herfel says like, I don't care what you do, you just take a step forward. You take one step forward. What's cool about that is if you take a step forward and it was wrong, you know where you gotta go now. Hey man, good news. That's not the way that I wanted to. Readjust. Boom, now I'm gonna go that way. You take a step forward, shit, it might be the right step, but at least you take a step forward. I guarantee, it's a guaranteed fact, if you don't take a step forward, you're not gonna move anywhere. 50-50 shot, if you take one step, it could be wrong, but it could be right, right? But what's cool is you can rethink it and go a different route. But just freaking do something, just do something. It's insane, and it's gonna hit you when you guys get into this, like, oh my God, is that easy? Yes, it's this easy. Anybody got any questions on this? Any other ways that you might be able to find them? That's cool. I love that story, man. Your in-laws, that's sick. Okay, great. All right, we finally found one, right? Yes. Kevin took down that $1,000 or $100,000 trailer that I gave him, right?
Wow, double the price.
Yes.
30 minutes.
Yeah. Bought the house. Okay. He didn't buy it.
How do I do that first part?
So he found one that he thinks he wants to look at, right? A guy brought it to him. Braden found him a deal. Hey man, I got this trailer out on Peoria, 40 grand. Braden really has a,
35,
he really has a $35.
under contract, you guys are late to the party.
Okay, so what do I do now? So your realtor wants to pull comps. So why would you pull comps for a resale or ARV value? After repair value, sorry.
Oh, okay.
ARV is the value of the house after you flipped it, after you fixed it up.
On the acronym.
See how much you can make on it?
See how much you can make on it, right? Like you need to know what your end goal is, you need to know what your number is, so you know how to work with that to see if it's gonna be a deal or not. So ARV, what's also cool about the ARV? This is really like, this one right here is so important, that first red one. Tells you how to update the house. So me and Heather did a flip in like Rancho Jardines a couple years ago when Chip and Joanna first came out, man, they were super popular, like the farmhouse look, the chalk paint, that you would kind of sand and make it look like distressed, like that was super popular, and it turned out fantastic. But it's the one that you helped me solder the plumbing thing on. Brittany was on demo day that time. Anyway.
That's the hardest work I've ever done in my life.
So it is possible to like upgrade yourself out of profit, right? Like you could put so much money into the house to make it look like so fantastic that when you go to sell, you're like, oh, I didn't make anything. Yeah, because you put so many updates into it. So what's cool about the ARV or knowing what your comps are, it tells you what you have to do to that house. So you're gonna buy a house at 200,000. Let's say there's a comp or multiple comps and your realtor thinks you can get $400,000 for the house. Cool, man, that's a pretty cool spread, right? But you're gonna look at this $400,000 house or houses that is on the market, you're gonna look at all those pictures. You're gonna look at the kitchen, what did they do in this kitchen? And you're gonna do it to this kitchen. You're gonna look at what they did in the master, you're gonna do it to this one. You're gonna look at what they did to the flooring in that one, you're gonna do it to this one. What they do to the paint, paint. Upgrades, upgrades. No more. But no, if you do less, what are you gonna get? Less, right? So that's how you determine what you do to a house. Do you do the same thing to every house?
No.
No, each house is different, right? What if you buy a house and the bathroom's already updated? What if the kitchen cabinets are already updated? All you have to do is the countertops. You save a lot of money that way, but you have to look at the comp to tell you what you have to do to the house. Because you can update out of money, you can update out of profit.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When you're looking at comps in, say, this market,
Mhm.
do you only use, completed transactions? Do you only use completed transactions with a specific period of time?
Yeah,
Anything on that? I know that's hyper specific, but you know.
what's cool about this day right here? It's a big weekend, right? You get Mondays off. That is the day, that is the weekend that we use the market crack. The market started to freaking tank. So 30 days after that, when things start to close, you can use comps like into mid-August. So if it's closed, you want mid-August forward. But then as realtors, you're also looking at actives. Actives meaning what is still on the market. So in the real estate, realtors use call comps comparables. Nowadays, you get your mindset right, actives are now your competition. So if there's. So if we have two houses that are, comparables to the same size, same room, same area, same location, but all three of these are basically the same house, same upgrades, everything. This house sold, let's say in September, sorry. And this house is still on the market, it's been on the market for 20 days. Where's your comp at? Where would you say your comp is at? 390? Probably closer to 390, right? And mine would be 385 because they've raised interest rates since September. But why wouldn't it be 400? They're still active. Still active, nobody's bought it. The buyers are saying, bro, it ain't worth $400,000. Who determines the price in a market? The buyer, the seller, or the real estate agent? The buyers, right? What bang can I get for my buck? They're telling you this house is not worth $400,000. So is this a comp? I'd say probably not, right? Or you can look at the pictures here, and maybe they didn't update the kitchen, and here they updated the kitchen. Update the kitchen, plan for 390. Hope for 400, plan for 390, right? Adjust your numbers. So yes, you go on active and what's closed. That was a great question, Kevin. Let's say you're gonna do long-term rental. But you're gonna flip it. Why would a long-term rental matter to you if you're just gonna flip it? Meaning you're gonna buy it, you're gonna fix it up, and you're gonna immediately sell it once you're done. Why do you care about long-term rentals? Just in case you don't sell. So everything that I do here, I'm explaining here, is all to mitigate your risk. So your plan, which we have a house in Peoria that our plan was to flip it. We bought it off a guy who was going into foreclosure. We gave him money to bring him current. We put it on the deed. We were gonna fix it up. 2 months later, we were gonna flip it. Boom. This happened. Right? Can't flip it anymore. The market fell faster than I could get it to the market to sell it. So your worst case scenario, you want to make sure that you can cover your mortgage in a long-term rental. Your ultimate goal was to flip it and make $120,000 profit, right? But if the market tanks, Corona comes back, I don't know, and you have to, long-term rental, you're fine, right? Yes, your cash is tied up a little bit, but you didn't lose a ton of money. Hopefully you're making a little bit of money here. Okay, so that is why long-term rental comp, because this is kind of worst case scenario for the property. And that is how you protect yourself and you mitigate the risk. Current market price, like what? Why would this be important right now? The price that the house is worth today.
You know how much money you're working with for the renovation.
Correct. You want to overpay, you don't want to overpay for a house. Just because Braden brought Kevin a deal at 100 grand, it might be worth 80. Kevin needs to negotiate that down to 80. That's what it's worth. Just because it's cheap and just because that's Braden's price doesn't mean that that's in Kevin's buy box. So Kevin is either going to negotiate that down to Kevin's buy box. Kevin is going to say the phrase that is going to make you the most amount of money in investing, which is what? No. The freaking word no. You would rather say no to a good deal than yes to a bad one, right? That's very important. So one thing I also want to bring up here, and Gary Keller said today, like the profit is in the buy. Your money is in the buy and how deep you can buy it. So Kevin can negotiate with Braden on his $100,000 trailer, 20 grand down to $80,000 where Kevin wants to buy it. Okay, so Kevin saved $20,000. Okay, let's say Kevin, okay, Kevin needs floors, interior paint, bathroom tile, and some handyman stuff. We'll give Neil a job here. Handyman stuff. All right, so floors. Let's say like floors are gonna run them $6,000. Okay, Kevin's like, man, I'm gonna negotiate this. I ain't paying $6,000. So he beats up his contractor, gets him down to freaking $5,500. Wow, man, that's great. Okay, cool. So paint, the guy, interior, exterior, the guy wants to charge another $6,000. Kevin says, that bullshit, I ain't paying that. Freaking gets them all the way down to another $5,500. Same with the bathroom. The guy wants to charge $9 grand. Kevin gets him down to $8,000. Yeah, good job, Kevin. That's like 12%. Cool, man. Handyman wants $3 grand. You argued with him enough. He gave it to you for $2,800. Cool, man. Did somebody add these up? Probably not, because it's all jacked up. So there's 1,000, there's 2,000. He saved $2,200 by beating up all of his subs. Hey, man, good job, Kevin. Good job, right? So, do you think the flooring guy's ever gonna come back and work for Kevin? No, because Kevin's a dick and he doesn't want it. He saved $500. Does the painter want to come back and work for Kevin? No, because the painter right now, you gotta live in the market that we're in. The painter's freaking Vince, dude, you get in line, you pay what he wants, or he's moving on. You need him more than he needs you right now, Now the market could shift and this dude might be knocking your door down. He'll do it for $3 grand, but that's not today. You gotta live in the market that you're in today. Okay, so Kevin beat him up for another $500. This painter come back and work for Kevin? No, cool, man. You get to go find another painter. Hey, bathroom, you saved $1,000. This tile guy comes back for you, Kevin? Hell no. Handyman saved you $200. Neil, you come back? No, sir. So you save $200, but you get to go find 4 more people. How hard is it to find 4 of these people right now? Hard. Extremely hard. And it's freaking expensive because the next guy, if you get him down, he ain't coming back, right? Most important thing in business and in life is that right there. It's worth the $500 difference right here to keep this dude happy. Because this dude will come back the next flip that you do. And then after like 6 or 7 flips, when you have an emergency, dude will put you in the front of the line because he knows your money's good and you're gonna pay and you're gonna pay on time. You're not gonna Jew him down on the price, right? So Kevin saved $2,200, but he pissed all of his who's off. So he gets to go find more who's. But Kevin also did a great job and he negotiated $20,000 with one guy who knew his house was overpriced anyway. So Braden, are you upset? You sold a house for $80,000. You upset?
No, I still made money.
You still make money. Would you go back to Kevin again if on the next house, let's say you have a house for $200,000, are you gonna tell Kevin about it?
Yeah, somebody's gotta buy it.
100%. Are you upset that Kevin tried to negotiate a price with you?
No.
As a wholesaler or as a guy who finds flips? No, 100%.
As long as I can make the money that I need to make on it, then I'm fine.
100%. Win-win for both people. Kevin's saying $20,000 negotiating on the buy.
You know how many times I've taken the first offer? Huh? In any negotiation. In any negotiation, I don't negotiate as many housing contracts, there's lots of negotiations. That first offer,
But what I want to hammer home, like on that example right there, your profit is in the buy. It's how well you can negotiate that shit before you even buy it. It is not right here, dude. Not in this market. In a couple years, will this market change? Maybe, I don't know. I hope not, I hope you guys stick with it, but if they do, then it's a different market, right? But don't beat up those dudes, because you're gonna need those relationships, and those relationships are super hard to find right now. So don't piss those guys off, get it in the buy, the money is in the buy. Okay, let's open that, open that spreadsheet. Okay, for me, please. So this house we did, in Phoenix. Neil, you worked on this house. You did the lights and stuff and that flip house, we put the thing in there. Anyway. Bought this house, I don't remember, a year or so ago. This is the spreadsheet. It's an older one. I've updated a little bit, but I wanted to show you guys like legit what it looks like, how we plug it in, how it formulates, how we say go or no go. So right here, I kind of go down, right? So if you're gonna go and walk the property, you're gonna make some notes. You take your pad, you're gonna say, all right, I need a brand new kitchen, I need new flooring, I need new paint. As you walk through that, oh yeah, I need new light fixtures, oh, that door's got a hole in it, I'm gonna put a new door in there. Yeah, that bathroom tile's all jacked up, let's put new tile, new fixtures, new vanities. Like you're making notes of this stuff, then you're gonna go back and you're gonna plug it in. You're either gonna go get quotes on this, or if you've done it enough, you kind of know like what the stuff is gonna cost. Like if you just did a flip and the guy charged you $3,000 for painting it, put $3,000 or $3,200 in there. Always shoot high, right? So this is how I fill it out all the way to the bottom. Brandon, we scroll down a little bit. It's got labor in here. It's got dump fees, blinds, roof, windows, it's got a lot. If it doesn't have something in here that you want to do, just make another column for it and add it in there. You always have to add in, if you're gonna flip it, there's real estate fees in there. Don't forget that real estate fee. There's, on this one, there was about $15,000 in real estate fees plus some closing costs. So you're closer to $20,000. If you don't remember that, that $20,000 comes out of your profit, okay? So keep track of everything. I even have things in here for like $100, right? Because enough $100 increments can add up to a lot of money, right? So you put this in, okay, right here. So this was cool. The plumbing, shower, drain repairs, $19,000. I think we had budgeted like $2,500 for that. But when we went to sell it, they did the inspection, they found out that the drain lines had collapsed because they were all cast iron. But when I bought it, the partner I bought it with said like, oh, dude, the drains are cool, man. I know the buyer, or I know the seller, they said, yeah, there's nothing wrong with the drains. Cool, man. So I didn't get them tested. We just replaced the flooring in it, the bathroom in it, everything was done. Went to buy it, did an inspection, and clogged. Shattered, the line shattered. Okay, so I need to get somebody in there to clean it out. So I get a snake guy in there. The guy runs his little snake down in there, jacks it up even more. Oh, cool, man. So I get to replace a section of the plumbing now. So after all three of those guys and all that mess and everything, it totaled $19,000. So it was about $17,000 that I didn't account for, but I had to pay. It's part, you're not going to sell a house with bad pipes, right? So there's the unforeseen in here. This was probably one of the worst ones for like the unforeseen costs that we've ever accounted for. But we still made out all right. Brandon, if you scroll up a little bit. Oh, here's the profit right here. So you have what we bought it for, $445. We sold it for $617,000, yeah, $617,000. So days financed, we're gonna talk about this in the next class, but like if you do a hard money loan, there's interest costs on there. That comes out of your cash pocket, right, that you have to account for. This one, my buddy was able to pay cash for it, so we didn't have any down payments and we didn't have any lending costs. Right? So that's why there's a zero up there, but normally, if you don't pay cash, there's gonna be a cost in there that you need to account for. So we're $95,000 into this deal. Which yeah, we're 440, we ended up profiting the $43,000 that we split. So with this, there's things in here like with your buy box. Also with your buy box, you want to have like a go, no go price on it. So some guys use percentages. Some guys use like dollar amounts. It's, I don't know like a pro or con to either of them, as long as you're making money on it. So like you might say for your first one, like you can't, okay, so if you want to make $200,000 on your first property, what are the chances you're gonna come across those deals all the time? Slim to none, right? Like you're not gonna come across them. If you can be a little bit like, hey man, if I can take it down after all my costs, my realtor fees, my financing costs, at the end of the day, if I can net, let's say $30,000, you could probably find some of those, right?
Yeah.
More often than a $200,000 rent. So if you're cool with $30,000, use that as your $30,000 buffer. What I like about $30,000 is, let's say you had to buy a sight unseen, you don't get a home inspection, the roof is bad, that normally runs $8,000 to $10,000, so you can cover that. AC is bad, that's $6,000 to $8,000, you can cover that. The roof, the AC, and that still leaves you $10,000 to $12,000 of positive cash flow or profit, right? So you can safely get out of there. Again, mitigating the risk, but not asking for like $200,000. $30,000 is safe, like it's a safe bet. Plus, if you make $30,000, you can flip it in 2 months, that's $15,000 a month, that's a pretty good return, right? So
Does it matter if you have, like, I mean, does it change with how much cash you're putting in and how, I mean, to me, it seems like if you're financing it, I mean, more reason to pay the guys, but then you'd probably want to have a little higher, I mean, you didn't have any cash, if you said you didn't have any cash in that deal and shit, whatever, I mean, as long as your time's gonna be,
Right.
seems pretty good.
Right.
But if it took all of my cash, you get it,
100%.
then does your buy box change then, or do you guys, I mean, I'm asking you, do you personally alter that a little bit, tweak it, make it higher, I want a higher return on this because I'm tying up all my cash?
Mhm. So, like what we learned, that's an awesome question.
I really didn't think.
Yeah. So there's pros and cons, right? So if you, let's say you need $400,000 for everything, to buy the house, to repair it, to pay the realtor, to pay the financing costs, you need $400,000 and you have $400,000. Do you want to take it down? If you're borrowing $400,000 over a 3 or 4 month period, it's probably gonna cost you like $12,000. But it ties up 100% of your cash. So what I like to call this is like financially handcuffed. Because what happens the day you sign on this, the next week, Brenda's gonna come with 2 more.
And they're all $200,000 deals.
They're the freaking rips that you've been waiting for your entire life.
Yeah.
Swear to God, it happened. It will happen. It happened to me in Ohio. This is exactly what I did in Ohio. I thought, dude, I'm not gonna pay the financing costs. I have cash. I'll buy these houses cash. I bought 3 houses cash. I don't know, we spent like 300 grand in them. They were all closed. They're all getting remodeled. Things were going cool, man. My goal was to buy 20 that first year. I bought 3 like right off the bat. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna hit this goal. Like we're gonna kill it. Like numbers were looking fantastic. My realtor came to me with 6 more deals. I swear to God, less than 2 weeks after that. With like way better returns than the first 3 that I bought. I had to tell him no because I used all my freaking money because I thought, oh man, I'm gonna save this. Who fucking cares? Because like what I would have made on each one of these was like 30 grand times 6. I saved 100 or 12,000 I missed out on $180,000. So you really lost $168,000. That should piss you off and that should keep you up at night. Like if that doesn't, you're in the wrong spot, you ain't gonna make it, but you save this. Don't stop worrying about trying to save it, trying to maximize this, right? Now, if it's in your buy box, Kevin, like you have 400 grand and that, I mean, that's what you want to do to save the $12,000. Maybe some of your contractors will give you a little better rate, like maybe you can then negotiate $500 off, because if you're paying dude $100 bills on the table, he doesn't have to report it. Yeah, okay, then you save that $2,000 that we talked about, so now you saved $14,000. But that is the time, Murphy's Law, once you sign and use all your cash, rain's gonna come with freaking opportunity of a lifetime. You're like, man. So what's cool about like hard money is like you could take your $400,000, Kevin, and put like, at the beginning, they're gonna want like 20% down. So if you need $400,000 cash, you need $80,000. So I would highly recommend that you use and from what I've learned from experience, you use the $80,000 and finance. Because 400 minus your $80,000, you still have 320, right? How many $400,000 houses can you buy with this? You buy another 4. Yeah, so you can have 5 houses. And because your buy box is $30,000 or it's a no-go. All because you wanted to save this. Right? You wanted to save this, so you gave up this. So that personally, that's what I would do, is I would hard money on it. And just pay, like, budget it. Budget it, okay? Budget it, you're covered. Budget it for $3,500 in appliances, and the dude wants to charge you $3,000 for appliances, you pay it. You pay, you smile, you walk away, you save $500. Exterior paint, I put $1,800 in here. Dude wants to charge me $1,800. Great, perfect. There's your check, bro. $1,800. I got this. You budgeted it, you're fine. Now, when you start jumping into things like you budgeted $2,500 and you get hit with $19,000, that's a little harder to swallow. But like this is the worst one. This is the worst one for us. We've done close to 40 of these already. So you budget, you always budget high. That mitigates the risk. You use other people's money because cash is king. You can use your cash to buy more. And if we were in a room with 80-year-old people, this would be a different conversation. I would say, yes, use your cash, buy the house, no financing, and just make your $2,000 a month in rent, right? Something steady, $2,000, you can live on that. That's great. At our young ages, we have time. We have time that an 80-year-old person doesn't have. So in your young age, I would do anything and everything to pick up quantity. You want to buy more properties and you buy them with less, right? So you put the minimum down so you get more of them. As long as, if you go back to that slide, as long as you can rent it out long-term, as long as you can make passive income, as long as it's in your buy box, as long as you can flip it or hold it, all that stuff makes sense, then you buy it all day long, you buy it, and you buy as many of them as you can. Okay. So I don't know if I went over this last time. But me and Heather, we tried to figure out like a couple weeks ago how many flips that we had done like in our life, and I think we counted like 38, but I think we still have 7 or 8 properties, so 30. And we started like 10 years ago, for numbers sake, we'll say 10 years ago. But in the housing market in Arizona, the appreciation has gone up to where each house like roughly averages $300,000 in appreciation in equity. If I had 30 of them that I sold and they all could have grossed an extra $300,000 if I were to sell them today, how much is that? Somebody know the number?
$9 million.
$9 million. That's a lot of freaking dollars in 10 years. That's almost $1 million a year, right? So like a lot of people are saying like, oh man, I wanted to get into fix and flips. What do you make on one fix and flip if everything goes good? 30K, you get to pay short-term capital gains tax on that. 38%, thanks to all you Democrats. I'm just kidding. That's that. This as you, this is serious, this is not political, I don't care what party you are. But this should really piss you off, like this. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money that you give back to the government for them to freaking spend however they want to spend it. You want to try to lower your tax liability any way that you can. You'll have write-offs, but like you really have to pay attention, especially short-term capital gains. That is a tremendous amount of money right there. I mean, I don't want to do the math, but I think you're probably like $11,000, $12,000. So at the end of the day, you're only gonna net another $19,000. Disgusting. But anyway, so that's my thought on like fix and flip or buying homes. At a young age, you want to take on everything you can. You want to buy everything you can. Because how cool it would be to have 30 of these. If I would still have these right now, when interest rates went to 2.5%, even for a freaking investor, you could have refinanced all 30 of these and your bank account could have read this. You would have paid 0% tax on that.
Well, and can I point something out that has hit home over the past 2 weeks? Is that what you guys started and then in turn, what we see and we do with our kids, or what we do is visible to our children. And so we're giving them the opportunity to not make these mistakes and build wealth as they get older
Right.
this way.
Right.
And I think that's really compelling for them, like that they see that this is something that they can do for themselves. So Wyatt talks about like his first place, like I'm gonna, when I buy my first place and save his money to do that, like, and that I think is one of the biggest takeaways is what we can do for our children. You know, it's for us, ourselves, of course,
Yeah.
going older, but what they can do too.
1,000%. So what if like, I'm 30, I'll be 37, 38.
That's right.
I'll be 38 in like 15 days or whatever. Like imagine if I was 20 years old and I knew this right here. But step further, like Josh, how old are your kids?
20 and 19.
20 and 19, so averaging 20. Kevin, how old are your kids?
7 and 10.
7 and 10. You know?
25, all of them.
25,
22, 26, and 20.
Okay, so they're all in their 20s. You?
16 and 13.
She got 20, 13. What if you could teach them this shit right now? I found out today what the age was that you could legally buy a house, like you could be on the deed, was it 7? 7. Who has anybody younger than a 7-year-old? We do, we have one. Okay. So what if you started buying a house with your kids right now? Let's say they were 20, by the time they were 30, 10 years. I don't think the market's gonna be this aggressive, but for numbers sake, let's say that. What would you do if you had $9 million at the age of 30? Be freaking game changing. Like that is for real. That is legit. That is what we missed out on. That is what we could have had, right? So yeah, we use this. Like we got a lot of these rips. You know, there were some that were even higher. You know, maybe like I think our best one right now, like 100 G's. I don't know. Heaven knows what's wrong. But when we sold these, we used them to get more of the property. So it wasn't like a total wash. But what I'm saying is like, if you ask a real-time investor, if you ask like an old school investor who's had houses, his biggest regret is selling them. And like when I ran those numbers a couple weeks ago, I was like that's kind of gross, man. Like $9 million, that's a big deal. And then you could have refinanced them and got it all for tax-free. The government can't tax refinances. So this is our retirement is real estate. So if you own 10 houses say 10 houses. You got them all paid off, they're worth $400,000, you can refinance 300 grand out of each one of them. You refinance a house every year, every 2 years, or however much money you need to live on. And you sit there and refinance the second year, you refinance the second one, third year, you refinance the third one, fourth year, you refinance the fourth one. By the time you make it back here to 10, your renters have already kind of paid this back down, you can start refinancing all over again. Tax free. You don't pay tax on refinancing. If you sell it, it's a long-term capital gains tax, which, okay, cool, man. Goes down to 28% tax. But if you refinance it, tax-free, you spend it, it's in your bank account, tax-free.
I got it.
Oh,
They taught me what to do.
does anybody have any questions about that spreadsheet? You'll get a copy of the newer one and the blank one that I have. I'll give you this old one, but I've done some changes to it. And it all ties in with formulas and all that stuff. So if you change something, it changes the different numbers and everything for you. So as long as you don't mess with the formulas, it should all play in and update for you. Go back to this slide.
I don't know what to do.
Just click on that slide. That's fine. Okay, so you look at the spreadsheet. After you look at the spreadsheet, it tells you, hey man, like on that house, I can make $43,000. At the time my buy box was 30 grand. If I can safety net $30,000, I'm gonna go. Were you a go on that one? You're gonna profit $43,000, right? But what was cool about that is, man, if I would have thought ahead and got that plumbing tested, I could have fixed that probably for about another 2 grand. So instead of 19,000, I'd have been at like 5,000. So that 43,000 could have turned into 57, closer to 60,000, right? That's cool. So is it your buy? If so, then it's go. If not, then it's no. What's the quote that I said earlier? I would rather say
Just to a bad one.
yes. If you passed up on a good deal, did it cost you any money? No. Not essentially, right? You didn't make the money, but you didn't have to fork over. If you said yes to a bad deal and you lost 10 grand, do you have to pay that? Did it cost you money? 100%. You'd rather pass up on a good deal than say yes to a no. You're gonna say no 100 times. You might not buy your first property for 6, 9, 12 months. I don't know. You're gonna look at a lot. You're gonna fill a lot of these out. You're gonna think it's a buy until you walk the property and then you look at this spreadsheet and you have all your costs up and you're like, man, I can only net 20 grand. Are you a go at 20 grand? You might be. In this case, no, we're not. You're gonna respectfully say, hey man, Braden, I gotta pass. Thanks, bud. Hit me up next time. Braden will hit you up next time, I guarantee it. Do not buy a house because you feel sorry for somebody or you feel that they're not gonna come back and offer you the same amount. They're gonna offer you the house again, right? Their job is to sell a house. So I don't want you, and I think we talked a little bit about last time, Kevin, when I threw up 29 grand, but our cut was 30. The worst thing you can do is sit there and go like, damn, I think I can make that work though. You're gonna catch yourself saying that. That right there is gonna either save your ass or get your ass in trouble. When you're gonna sit there and go, man, 29, I could do it. Your buy box, keep your buy box. Your buy box is 30, you want a net 30 or you're no go, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it 29. Don't do it. Walk away. Don't try to convince yourself, because next thing you know, you took a $29,000. 29 wasn't bad. I'll take this 22. Oh man, I'll take this one that I can make 18. All I gotta do is a little bit of flooring. I'll call Neil over, do some paint, do that. I'll be in and out. That's the time you're gonna get hit with a $19,000 deal, right? Okay, I think that was about the next one. Okay, so next class, we're gonna talk about financing. But like, is there anything that you like learned tonight? Something that, you know, that you want to start to implement? Anything you learned? Any questions you might want to talk about? It was pretty basic, but I think it was good. Jesse Herfel, he asked this question a lot. What are you not doing that you should be doing? Right? There's things in life that we need to be doing. I think talking to your in-laws and stuff, and start talking to some friends, start meeting people. where it's at. You guys still on Zoom? You guys got any questions?
He knows already.
Yeah. Cool. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, we're done. Hey, I got homework for next time. Don't forget my homework.
Can you make Nikki do it?
You all want? Thank you very much.
No respect, no lead,
Oh,
no bad foundation.
Oh,
Yeah, no foundation.
yeah, we didn't have you like a long-term rental. We have one like that right now, and you can fix them, rent them out.
Right, yeah.
When's the last time you heard of a house that fell down? Besides your brother-in-law's.
Oh,
Brian,
oh,
that one will fall down.
I don't know if I hear.
That one will fall down.
Okay, so stop screen sharing and exit Zoom.
Yeah, I'm good.
You talk about,
Good to see you, Neil.
Neil, you're the man, bud.
you talk about the R. I guess it.
She was about bed and breakfast in Savannah.
Look at it.
I'm not going back to it.
I own 2 houses in Minnesota, or 2 resorts in Minnesota. You give her a tell, you got to work. She didn't come back in class. We don't work,
Yeah.
Our money works for us.
You give her a car, I'm like. "You can work on it." You go. Like, "Well, I'm not retired."
Yeah.
Hey, Todd.
All right. I'm like, "Yeah." Pretty sure.
Yeah, you know, they figure you now. You shit.
That's funny.
That's my favorite thing. My friends ask me questions.
All right, I'll see y'all next.
I'll buy a cheap working day. I'll pay her. Maybe we'll appreciate it.
Next weekend and the week after, we're nervous.
We'll skip the one for Thanksgiving. The next week, we'll talk about like the financing, like the different options on hard money, personal money. I can't. You'll probably see that something that happen next week, but they give you ideas and options on how to. And the pros and cons of both.
5,000 is your ROI, like on a flip.
No, I mean, I'm
You
sure.
only have 5,000.
Knows how many ways. And I go down to like my top. Reasons.
Like all these examples.
Yeah, there might be somebody that's like, hey, well, you try this stuff.
All the
Yeah,
other-
there's other options out there. They want folks on like the main
They
five. that start with
lays out, then work back.
safe.
If you turn it 5,000, that's not times, right?
Yeah.
That's, if you turn.
Right,
5,000
right,
per year. Yeah. Great ROI. That's great.
Yeah.
See you later.
She worked, she made a money, but kind of that.
John,
Oh.
like, I don't know, like, $5,000.
Thanks, Neil.
Your son would never made it differently. ROI. What's your turn on it? Your investments, like a push.
Sure, yeah, look, that's what, a lot of you start with the ROI on a business is 15%.
The what?
15.
Like a cap rate?
No,
The average
you're
return?
turning 15% profit on your capital investments.
You wanna know what's crazy about that? In real estate, it's way bigger than that, and it's like the unsung, like not real life.
Can you imagine what would happen to the market if more people came into it looking at investment properties with real estate as like their investments versus like their 401k? Or
Yeah, then a bunch of kids, I get that. I get that.
Can you imagine Nikki got a real estate license?
Yeah, could you imagine? Talk about how I can make more money.
You would have.
But not the others.